Welcome to Heavenly Panels, your gateway to the most exciting manhwa and manhua stories. From overpowered heroes and legendary cultivators to epic Murim battles, regressions, reincarnations, and fantasy adventures, we bring you the best story recaps and highlights. Subscribe and join our journey through incredible worlds, powerful characters, and unforgettable adventures. New stories are waiting for you every day, right here on Heavenly Panels.
Bohai's face is swollen. I recognize those eyes. It's you, Hamthai Bin, you filthy bastard. He winces in pain, clutching his mouth with one hand. Ouch, my beautiful tooth. It hurts. How are you going to pay for this? Bohai's broken tooth lies on the table as Hamthai Bin gently wipes soup off his face. Senior brother, still trying to pick a fight with me. I left the Kongdong sect long ago. The child cries out in distress. Father, Bohai yells, don't try to make excuses. Hamthai Bin is gentle, but his eyes are sorrowful. I'm not making excuses. I check every dish before serving it. Soup is still on his face. Senior brother, or are you still angry about that day? Bohai glares, silent. 15 years ago, Hamthai Bin smiles, holding his sword in one hand. You fought well in that met. Senior brother, Bohai is sweating. He sits down, squinting uncomfortably, leaning back, looking up. Ah, Bohai, knowing you were still in the Kongdong sect back then, the title of top Kongdong master could never be mine. I could never last long against you. Bohai looks at him calculatingly. Months later, you were constantly hit with malicious rumors. The whole body aches in pain, so your arts were crippled and you were expelled. He smirks, smiling triumphantly, thinking, but the humiliation I suffered that day will always keep my hatred burning. The towel is stained with soup. Hamthai Bin said, filled with sorrow. Your loss was only a bit of honor, but I was schemed against, losing the chance to learn my dream arts. Since it's like this, why do you still come to harass me? A disciple holds Toyet Kong's shoulder bad sign. What about your tooth? Hamthai Bin asks Toyet Kong sternly. Was your tooth really broken by the foot? I cooked. He looks surprised, covering his mouth. You mean I'm lying? But you see, the tooth is broken. It really hurts. The disciple looks at Hamthai Bin. This is serious. If the Grandmaster finds out, he will make it a bigger issue. Under the roof, Toyet Kong. They walk away. The disciple asks what happened. Happened to your tooth? Oh, this. He grins, showing his teeth. I was training with Bohai senior brother. Tripped and fell. Hamthai Bin sighs. If the future of Kongdong depends on you, it's pathetic. The essence you were taught must have been thrown away. You're clearly lying. As if hit, Bohai freezes. You, still arrogant. He strikes Hamthai Bin, sending him flying. Father, Hantalane runs to him, hugging him, tears streaming as Hamthai Bin coughs up blood. Why do you have to make things hard for my father? Stop. Nearby, two people eat steamed buns. One takes a drink. Teach, this ruins the meal. The other warns, focus on your mission. Don't stick your nose in others' business. Hantalin angrily uses her small strength to hit. Bohai, don't you dare frame us. I cooked all those dishes, so I know there were no stones in them. My father checked them already. Don't frame him. He shows no mercy or regret. He strikes, sending Hantalin crashing aside. Touching her with filthy hands, a hand snaps. Chopsticks. Thainaklan slams her hands down. Those bastards. Trongli Vu Hon pats her shoulder. Senior sister, don't act rashly. The Kongdong sect is a top martial factions in the world. Thainaklan is still angry. He advises, if we make enemies with them, we won't be safe either. But suddenly, someone speaks up. You guys are going too far. Quan Mon Chin stands before Bohai. He asks, which brat are you? Quan Mon Chin sweats in stuttering. I am a bodyguard. Bohai raises an eyebrow. A bodyguard. from the White Dragon troop. So, you don't know our friendship with your troop. Hantalin lies on the floor. Please, spare them. Quanmon Chin bows, trembling, begging, just this once. Can you let this go? Bohai covers his eyes and laughs. Wahaha, what a righteous person. Ha, 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 ha. His eyes are mocking, stroking his beard. Brat, you're making us the bad guys here. A lowly, poor bodyguard, learning martial arts for money, and you dare face a Taoist from Kongdong. Quanmon Chain clenches his fist, arguing, act so high and mighty. This is an honorable, important job. Bohai finds it an eyesore, drawing his sword. You don't know your place. Not only resisting, but you dare lecture me, you little brat. Know your place. Tran Vungoyen stands up from the table, smoothing his hair, face gloomy. Phew. Behind him, Trung Li Vuhorn notices, confused about what he's planning. Trung Li Vuhorn tries to stop Tran Vungoyen. Don't act without thinking. You should suppress your anger. That kid chose to stand up foolishly. He will definitely be punished. Even if we stop it, it won't work. At least he won't lose his life. He should be lucky to only lose a limb. And his honor. Tran Vungoyen doesn't look back. Asking in a cold tone, he should be lucky to only lose a limb, huh? The moment a knight loses an arm, might as well kill him. And honor, even a dog must have. Quanmon Chain recoils, gritting his teeth, dodging the blow. Integrity is daring to stand up alone against evil. Daring to fight. Vohai raises his sword to attack. Tran Vungoyen lifts his head, coldly turning to look. You will never understand these things. Trung Li Vuhorn is annoyed he won't listen. To him, you only see a small matter and don't know. Do you really want to make enemies with the Kongdong sect for that stupid belief? Tran Vungoyen keeps walking, leaving them behind. Moving like a rocket, only dust is seen. His face is full of killing intent as he uses 2 fingers to stop the blade. The world needs a few fools lie that, right? Quanmon Chain is shocked. Brother, the companions of Thai Naklan, everyone is stunned. Tuat Kong and his disciples are frozen. He can only stutter. Senior brother, Vohai. Tran Vungoyen's fingers hold the sword, blocking it barehanded. This is a complex technique, but it's still not enough to subdue me. Sweat pours. How dare he use 1 finger to block my sword? Who is this guy? His neck and forehead veins bulge, calculating. You bastard. He shows no fear at all. Who are you to dare stand in my way? Huh? Tran Vungoyen replies coldly. You can consider me this child's brother. Can we stop this now? Bohai screams, taking a stance, hands ready to strike. Cow-piercing hand, he strikes out. Tran Vungoyen is calm, blocking the sword with 1 hand and the strike with the other. Vohai is stunned by the block. Sweat pours down, he can only stand still. Tran Vungoyen says, this kid's job is to enjoy life, parents to raise kids, shops to trade. Vohai clenches his sword. Yeah, and a Taoist is to cut aside desires. Vohai hasn't regained his sense. Standing there holding the sword, Tran Vungoyen. The force of 2 fingers to snap the sword into pieces. To his confusion, if you can't do this, it's a shame for the whole sect. A sword fragment flies out, cutting Vohai's face, while he stares blankly at the short piece of sword left. Tuat Kong and his senior brother from behind Vohai stand still, swinging swords at Tran Vungoyen. Shut your mouth, you arrogant. Tran Vungoyen calmly turns to look at Quanmon Chin, saying, Quan Chin, take this girl and her father outside first. Hurry. He is startled. Okay, going now. Tuat Kong attacks, while his brother lunges at Tran Vungoyen. He gently dodges to the side, then uses his sword to block the other's attack. Tuat Kong jumps from above, no longer still. Tran Vungoyen moves to strike. A kick hits both. Tuat Kong's eyes widen, cheeks puffing. His senior brother doesn't take it lightly, mouth wide open in pain. He gently lays 1 person flat on the ground and sends the other one flying. He seems to see something. Tran Vunguyen dodges slightly to the side to avoid something hurtling toward him. Vo Hai's sword embeds itself into a wooden port. Tran Vunguyen looks coldly. I'll kill you. Vo Hai rushes forward, mouth open, both hands ready to strike him. Vo Hai charges straight ahead. Tran Vunguyen seems to split into two, moving to the side of him, striking him, making him cry out, "Ah!" Tran Vunguyen grabs Vo Hai's collar. Stowing his sword, he grabs the collar, punching his face repeatedly. He doesn't stop hitting him. Inside the sop, he suddenly senses something. Tran Vunguyen slowly turns his head back to see what it is. Tuat Kong uses his sword to stab Tran Vunguyen's back, drooling, sweating in fear. How dare you? Fight back. Tuat Kong tries to stab him. Tran Vunguyen remains calm, holding Vo Hai. He coldly looks behind him, hand grabbing the part of the sword not yet him. Tuat Kong confusedly looks out. Quan Mon Chin, carrying Han to Lin, sees the scene, stunned. Tuat Kong kneels in pain, his hand twisted. Dai Nak Lan, Dam Chan Hong, Kong Tan Shuang, Lam Chan Diap witness it. Everyone is stiff. Tuat Kong foams at the mouth, eyes rolling to the sky. Trung Li Vu Hoon is very worried. Bad. Members of the Iron Army are all around here. Deep in thought, if we get involved in this, the outcome won't be good. The Kong Dong sect are grudge holders. Trung Li Vu Hoon looks for a way out. This can't end peacefully now. If I intervene now, it will definitely mean turning against them. Ah, damn it. Bastard. Vo Hai is still held by his collar. His mouth won't stop bleeding, but he still yells, "Oh, how dare you injure the Kong Dong Taoists? Do you think you can leave here safely?" Tran Vunguyen keeps his cold expression. You attacked first. Now you twist the truth. Vo Hai threatens, the rest of our sect will be here soon. You'll see the power of Kong Dong sect. Tran Vunguyen hears this and indifferently asks, "Really?" Vo Hai angrily yells in his face, "Deet, knowing that you still dare to strike, you're truly a fool." Tran Vunguyen holds his collar. He leans to Vo Hai's ear. He seems scared and closes his eyes. Tran Vunguyen leans in and says, "If so, the famous Kong Dong or whatever, I can wipe them out in one go, right?" Vo Hai hears this and sweats in fear. "You dare threaten us?" Tran Vunguyen smirks slightly. "Why not? Anyone who dares to block." Suddenly a shout. Vo Hai senior brother. Tu Nian walks in from outside. Tu Nian walks in with Tran Than. "Hearing you came here." She stops when she sees Tran Vunguyen holding Vo Hai's collar. "How have you been lately?" "By the quiet river at night." "Damn it, what are you doing?" Tu Nian angrily crosses her arms and scolds Tran Vunguyen. "Because of you, the relationship with Kong Dong and our White Dragon trading troop is completely ruined." Tu Nian continues, "Why did you?" Both sides were cooperating so well. What were you thinking? Attacking them. Vo Hai is helped up by his shoulders, the three injured. He turns back. "Remember, I won't let this go easily." Tu Nian stands opposite Tran Vunguyen and Quan Mon Chin. She continues, "You should be grateful to come with us to Yunnan, yet you dare act like this." He politely replies, "I apologize for what I have caused, but, he explains, isn't the first thing you should do to investigate the situation, questioning those involved first." Before those words, Tu Nian asks, "What do you mean?" Puts his hand behind Quan Mon Chin. He is bowing his head, guilty. He's quite young, but he is a bodyguard of the White Dragon troop. His hand rests gently on the boy's back. "You have a responsibility to care for him, not to mention the gentleman and the young girl almost lost their lives. He stood up to protect them. Go on, stay calm and see your thoughts. Kong Dong being famous doesn't mean they can act however they please. I know Miss Yun is a disciple of theirs." Xiao Wul and Tran Than listen closely. "But consider your current position. You're not here as a Kong Dong disciple, as commander of the White Dragon troop. That's why I think you should listen to your people first, then decide." Before Jin Mu Wan's words, Xiao Wul just stays silent. She turns away, unwilling to accept the apology. "Ah, I know, it's my fault, sorry." Seo Wall says worriedly, but pushing everything into this situation is extremely serious. Jin Muon says calmly, I'll take full responsibility. If I'm not truly ready, I won't act. Seo Wall doesn't fully trust him. They're one of the 9 greatest sects. Not just any. Jin Muon says confidently, nothing lasts forever. She's surprised by that statement. What does Muon mean by that? He seems afraid of misspeaking. No matter how strong, they can't last forever. Seo Wall looks at Jin Muon worriedly. Jin Muon keeps his hand behind Munjung. You're still worried about this incident? As I said, I'll take full responsibility. If you're still not satisfied, Munjung and I will leave the troop. Thank you for your care all this time. Tran Pan steps in to stop it, afraid things go too far. Now, everyone stay calm first. This isn't so easily resolved. Go rest. We'll find a solution. Seo Wall silently looks at him. He glances at her. He looks at her. Are you all right, miss? Seo Wall hesitates in silence. Seeing Seo Wall turn away, he relaxes his face. Still, he reminds Jin Muon. Hey, you two, have you figured out a solution? This isn't a small matter. Jin Muon just replies, I'll sit and wait for them. Tran Pan is surprised. They'll come find us. Jin Muon answers. Deet. The quiet night sky. The river reflects the moon. Can't believe I let a novice tag along. 2. A pitch black sky. Munjung lowers his head, muttering, I sincerely apologize, senior brother. It's my fault. Jin Muon sits. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we'll have to sleep outside all night. Munjung, can you go grab a pillow for me? Munjung hears this and runs off. Right away, senior brother. Chung Rying appears after. Munjung runs far away. Now it's my turn to talk to you. Kongdong won't let this go. Jin Muon ignores him, waving his hand. Stop. Let me rest a bit first. Talking is tiring. Don't do this. Don't do that. I'm sick of hearing that name. Before his calm reaction, Chung Ryung is annoyed. You just give me a minute. Chung Ryung raises an eyebrow. If you had held back earlier, we wouldn't be in this mess now. Jin Muon doesn't argue. He lowers his head and says sadly, do you always plan your every move? Chung Ryung answers with a stern face. Of course. That's the only way to survive in this treacherous martial world. Strong or weak, you must rise this way. That's why the Iron Brigade stands firm. Jin Muon keeps his head down. I know. Muon is right. Those in the martial world must be cautious. Chung Ryung lowers his voice. Then why? Jin Muon's face is full of sorrow. But sometimes the heart makes the right decision. More often, today is an example. Dai Nak Lan hides behind a rock. Dam Tran Hong, Kong Ton Song, Lam Tran Dai Bai, eavesdropping on their talk while staying ready to fight. Jin Muon explains. Everyone thinks kindness has vanished from this world. The powerful will keep robbing the weak. And the weak have no place to cry or grieve. Dai Nak Lan, Dam Tran Hong, Kong Ton Suong and Lam Tran Dai are stunned. In this cruel world, if martial artists start abusing power to do evil, what's the point of martial arts? Chung Ryung hears Jin Muon's words. Stunned, sweating as he thinks, this man he seems dangerous. No, extremely dangerous. His misguided beliefs could harm everyone. In the martial world, Chung Ryung argues, one person can't change anything. This world isn't as easy as you think. Jin Muon smirks light. Is that so? He looks up. But look. A single candle can dispel the darkness. So at least I can become a guiding light. That's why I train and chose to walk this path. The mountains blend into the night sky. Jin Muon and Munjung sit on a log by the river. Before them a campfire blazing in the night. He says timidly, I'm sorry, senior brother. It's my fault. Both lower their heads. Munjung regrets. If I hadn't stepped out, we wouldn't be in this situation. Munjung sits sadly to the side. Jin Muon doesn't scold him but teaches him a lesson. Your mistake was not seeing the strength gap. Everyone faces their own hardships. The key is if you can overcome them. He sits listening to his guidance. On the other hand, you just got caught up in a trap. The fire blazes, lighting up the wide area where they sit. I'm sure you've realized it too. The martial world is a cold, harsh place where people trample each other. Only the strong survive, so you must grow stronger. Jin Muon watches Munjung silently. Mood. Munjung lowers his head in silence, pondering his words. Jin Muon gently raises his hand. Jin Muon gently pats Munjung's head, praising him to lift his spirits. Think positively, just be grateful. Thank you. Please subscribe for more videos. Hearing his intent, Munjung asks, how can I become as skilled as you? To break a sword with one finger. Jin Muon's face shows sadness. Replying, about the sword breaking. I learned blacksmithing as a child, so I learned how to master swords. Looking at the fire, the logs burning. Oh, really? So the sword you hold, did you forge it yourself? Jin Muon hears Munjung's question, recounts. Deet. After finishing my forging practice, I tried to make a sword, no matter how skilled the smith who made it. He silently looks down at his sword. He remembers, starting with the place, the towering mountains, mist-covered, desolate scene with only wind. Swords and broken blades lie scattered on the floor. The furnace, smoke, glowing with fire. The stone urges me on. The great fire blazes in the forge. What kind of stone is that? The memory returns to Hong Chayet, replying with a kind face full of wrinkles. I heard it's a meteorite, worshipped by the surrounding tribes, but that tribe was slaughtered. So the stone became ownerless. The stone is tied behind the cart. For 2 years, a piece of iron is placed in the blazing fire. Still can't master it. A hammer strikes the iron, still glowing red, until when Jin Muon is sweating, his eyes sad but focused. Only now do you accept me, stubborn stone, a blade still glowing red. Please succeed this time. He plunges the sword into water. Jin Muon, shirtless, shows many scars of all sizes on his back, sweat pouring down. He raises the sword high, admiring it. Did it work? His eyes are weary, watching anxiously, sweat dripping down his face. After 2 years, finally the stone. Still stubborn, no matter how I grind. Only the stone wears away. Jin Muon takes the sword and keeps grinding hard on the stone. Still stubborn to the end. Jin Muon looks at the sword with a sly smile, full of determination to conquer. Fine, let's see who lasts to the end. He becomes serious, grinding continuously. Sweat flies around his face. He keeps grinding. Purple smoke rises from the sword, intertwining within his body. The blade has purple veins. And all around Jin Muon, he still forges the sword. Jin Muon stares in awe. Snowflower. Before the snowflower, the sword's beauty. I've decided. He holds the finished sword up, looking, lifting it lie an achievement. I name you Snowflower. The sword has a black blade, with purple around the edge, both strange and mysterious. My sword is no divine or demonic weapon, but a talisman sword, the kind of energy Jin Muon sits. Sadly, looking at his sword. Senior brother, that sword is awesome and beautiful too. Thai Nak Lan carries a plate of food and a Jin Muon notices, eyes opening. Both look at her, his eyes opening. Both look at Thai Nak Lan. Hey, vice leader of the Iron Brigade. She just stays silent at that. Thai Nak Lan places food and water before him. Jin Muon looks up, confused. She pushes the plate closer, saying, eat. Both take the buns and eat. Munjung eats and can't help but marvel, thinking of reasons. The food is always hot. Senior brother, why is she so nigh today? Maybe they're trying to recruit us into the Iron Brigade. No, wait, if that's the case. Strange movement in the grass. Munjung chews while looking at the bun, saying regretfully, not only bringing food, what else? Jin Mu-won stays silent, paying attention, suspicious as if sensing something wrong, but, thinking again, Munjung hasn't finished when Jin Mu-won signals for silence. Shh! He freezes, staring into the grass. Munjung still doesn't understand. Looking at Jin Mu-won worriedly. Senior brother. Jin Mu-won knows what's coming and quickly tells Munjung. Munjung, hurry back to Nam Haikwon. He stands up, urging him. Hurry. Munjung hears this and quickly runs off, but still doesn't understand what's happening. Okay. Jin Mu-won stands tall, facing the grass, waiting for something in the grass. Munjung runs while glancing back at Jin Mu-won, gripping his sword, ready for battle. In the grass, countless eyes appear. One of them speaks up. That sword in your hand isn't bad. Then, one by one, Kongdong monastery members step out of the grass. One opens his mouth to ask Jin Mu-won, where are you from? Jin Mu-won coldly replies, I'm a northern swordsman. Vo Kwang steps forward with the bearing of a leader, saying, look at that arrogant attitude. Northern swordsman, I heard you're the one who dared to harm our disciples. Is that true? Vo Hai, Twiat Kong, and his senior brother stand behind Vo Kwang. Jin Mu-won answers Vo Kwang's question. I harmed no one. On the contrary, it's you all. Perhaps you don't know the Satori. Vo Hai behind him, afraid of exposure, points and blames, shouting, don't listen to his lies. Senior brother, this man is cunning. The others quickly chime in. Right, senior brother. He uses strange martial arts, and is argumentative. Just kill him, and extremely argumentative. Better you just kill him with one strike. The Kongdong members all stand in a group, while Jin Mu-won stands alone, yet calmly facing them all. He insults our Kongdong monastery. Everyone, charge and kill him. Vo Kwang points at Jin Mu-won. Arrogant swordsman, daring to lie and deceive me, and defame our reputation. Not only that, but also insulting Kongdong monastery's heritage. For what you've done, I will punish you myself. He brings the sword before him, slightly bowing his head. Eyes closed, drawing the sword. You've decided, why waste words? His eyes are sharp, drawing his sword. Come at me all at once. There, the blade reveals two purple characters. Kai Ho Keden. There, the Kongdong members fly lay dragonflies from above toward Jin Mu-won. Jin Mu-won's eyes show killing intent. Drawing his sword, the blade reveals two purple characters. Jin Mu-won swings his sword. Their faces are all fierce, flying in as if to devour Jin Mu-won alive. Then one by one, they fall. Confused, they ambushed him from both sides. One group flying from above, another rushing from the front. But only screams echoed through the night. As expected of Tran Vung Guayin. With a single sword swing, he unleashed a windstorm strong enough to blow away the entire graveyard. Tran Vung Guayin planted his feet, leaned forward, extending his blade, one hand gripping the scabbard, ready for the swarm of hornets charging him. Purple light merged with his aura, slashing a sharp, cold, circular arc. His strike exploded like a shockwave, sending them crashing into smoke. Cries resounding from all directions. He watched coldly. One of the men from the back rushed at Tran Vung Guayin, sword in hand. You're done for, you bastard. Die. He gritted his teeth and thrust. Finger strike. Two fingers braced against his elbow. Tran Vung Guayin flicked his sword, coldly turning his head to look at the man falling down with a snapped blade. The sword tip was broken. He struck back with the sheathed sword, swinging it backward. It smashed the guy's face, distorting features, sending spit flying into the rocks behind. Vo Kwang watched with a terrified expression, silently marveling that he could deflect all of that. Damn it, this guy is a real master. Vo Hai's eyes went wide, his jaw dropping, his face etched with wrinkles. Terrified, he yelled, he'll destroy our Gongdong sect. Brothers, charge. Kill him at all costs. Vo Kwang turned, face darkening as his brothers flew to attack Tran Vung Guayin. No, wait, stop. Vo Kwang screamed, reaching to pull them back. Stop. Fall back. You're no met for him. His eyes went wide in shock. Stop. Damn it. Tran Vung Guayin stepped forward, planting his foot, drawing his blade for the next strike, next sword stroke. His blade swept horizontally across the Gongdong disciples, spinning each of them around like a whirlwind. Bo Hai could only gape in shock, his hat sliding off his head. Tuat Kong's brother squatted, hugging his head. Tuat Kong sat stunned on the ground, Bo Kwang fumed, radiating blue spiritual energy. He was just toying with us all along. Bo Kwang lunged with his sword. You nameless nobody might know a few tricks. But this ends here. His eyes flashed with blue light. Arrogant punk, he roared. I'll kill you in one hit. Vo Kwang unleashed 5 elements. Extinction, smashing his sword down, kicking up blue shockwaves and smoke. Fierce blue energy blazed from his eyes. Whoosh! His eyes bulged, seeing the impossible. Huh! Tran Vung Guan appeared from the dust behind him. Vo Kwang stood expressionless. You! Heavenly moon striking fist, recovering. He slashed backward in counterattack. Tran Vung Guan parried with his sword. Vo Kwang stared with gritted teeth. Thunan watched, asking, how can this be? She broke into a cold sweat, stunned. His opponents are elite Gongdong masters, one of the greatest sects. Yet they all swarmed him at once. They couldn't even touch his clothes. Gliding like wind through falling leaves, Tran Than couldn't help marveling. In the martial world, hidden masters are the most dangerous. 4 palanquin, with Thunan and Tran Than, guarded by their subordinates. Along with most martial sects, Tran Than stared, wishing to recruit such talent. Lady Liu flashed across his mind. So that's why the matriarch pays attention to people who stay low profile. Thunan stood stunned. What is his true identity? Tran Than rubbed his chin. He claims to be Hoang Chiet's grandson. So where is guard Hoang from? Thai Nak Lan's group sat on the roof, directly above Tran Than, witnessing the battle. Lively chatter ensued as Trung Li Vu Horn spoke. Looks like this guy could wipe out the entire Gongdong sect using just one hand. Damn. Tran Hong crossed his arms and said, damn, they brought quite a crowd. Gong Sung Su chimed in, I want to jump in and help. Lam Tran Diep laughed, ha, you still want to join after seeing this? You're dead. Trung Li Vu Horn remained silent. The sky was growing brighter. Earlier, Thai Nak Lan lay with eyes closed. Thu Thai said, those Taoists put on airs, arrogant, and never is met. No offense, but none of us could beat them. Maybe only our leader could. With this power, he could turn the world upside down. Hearing her, Trung Le Vu Horn turned to look at her with a pensive expression. Even our arrogant senior sister is forced to admire him. Leader, we must discuss this. With a tense face, a giant figure flashed through Trung Li Vu Hon's mind. The battle continued. Tran Vun Guan calmly watched the relentless sword arcs before him without the slightest reaction. Bo Kwang was sweating from exhaustion, gritting his teeth, unable to turn the tables. Damn it, this bastard is pushing me back. He's effortlessly blocking my moves. How dare he look down on me? He braced for a new attack. Body radiating blue spiritual energy, holding his sword with one hand, while pulling the other back. You trash, he roared. If you're good, use your strength. Ultimate sky sword. Tran Vung Guan remained expressionless. All my strengths. Forgive me. I've been disrespectful just now. It's been a while since I fought seriously. He gripped his sword with both hands and slowly lowered it. Well then, I'll go all out. Soul-destroying stars. Night End sword. Tran Vung Guan conjured a purple whirlwind. Standing beneath it defiantly, Bo Kwang froze, his whole body affected by the vortex. Turning pale, dragged back, paralyzed. He panicked, unable to believe his eyes. Dropping his sword, Vo Kwang collapsed to his knees. Tran Vung Guan swept his blade from behind, his face with a fierce aura, the purple spiritual energy trailing behind the sword right up to Vo Kwang's neck. He cried out, Master, please spare me. Han Thai Bing ran ahead of Quan Mon Chin to intervene. Please, please don't kill him. I beg you. At the voice, Vo Kwang turned. Surprised. Tai Bing. The sky cleared, the dark night lifting. Well, Vo Kwang's back looks pretty wealthy. I see. Everyone in Gongdong bowed their heads. At the front stood Vo Kwang. He spoke with Han Thai Bing while the others stood aside. That was the real reason. Bo Hai and others knelt down. The rest knelt with heads down. Vo Kwang bowed, massaging his forehead. Phew. During my secluded cultivation, my martial arts were crippled and I was expelled. He glanced at the three of them. You guys are truly disgraceful, daring to commit such acts. Bo Hai gritted his teeth, asking about Tai Bing. My junior brother. No, Tai Bing. Back then, I heard they practiced dark arts by exchanging blows, suffered Kai deviation, and killed disciples. So he was expelled from the sect. Ham Tai Bing listened as Vo Kwang continued. I always felt something was fishy. Now it's clear. I've spent so much time agonizing over the pride of Gongdong. Knowing my beloved junior brother couldn't possibly do such a monstrous thing, I always trusted junior brother Tram Vung Guyen. Quan Mon Chin stood quietly behind Ham Tai Bing listening. His face looked sorrowful hearing the remorse. If only I had forgiven you. I let it go. I thought leaving meant wanting strength. I am heartless and callous. To let that happen. Bo Kwang continued, but still, Tai Bing, why didn't you say anything? You could have reported this to the Grand Master. You must have needed me so much back then. But I was in secluded cultivation. You could have, why didn't you? Ham Tai Bing answered gently. It's just that I was so tired. Bo Kwang looked in surprise as if mishearing. Sigh. Ham Tai Bing spoke calmly. My status within Gongdong made me feel utterly exhausted. A darkness lay isolation surrounded him as he was increasingly revered. Walking past people laughing behind his back, he met growing vigilance, envy, and jealousy from others. Life became miserable. I felt so alone. Han Talin stood with her mother. But later, when I met my wife, who supported and stood by me, I realized staying in Gongdong had no meaning. I decided to let it go. For a peaceful life with my family. Han Talin wiped her tears. Please stop bothering our family. Yet they still wouldn't leave us in peace. I don't know what else to do. Ham Tai Bing said bitterly. Twiat Kong propped himself up to avoid blame. Eldest senior brother, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't mean to harm them. Vo Kwang wore a stern expression. He blamed Vo Hai. Everything was orchestrated by Vo Hai. I was forced to obey. I didn't do anything wrong. I had no choice but to follow along. Eldest senior brother, listen to me. Vo Hai propped himself up and gritted his teeth in anger. You brat, how dare you betray me? Vo Hai jolted upright. Vo Kwang shot him a stern glare. Damn it, since it's out in the open. I'll spell it out. Eldest senior brother Vo Kwang, you're just a heartless bastard. All you know is practicing martial arts all day long. Fine, you only know one thing, blind to everything around you. Not caring about the sect, Vo Hai continued exposing him. Just a hypocritical Taoist. You knew I couldn't beat you. So you thought you were guaranteed to become leader. Sect leader, huh? Ham Tai Bing, ever since I found out he was the most likely to become the leader, it was such an eyesore, so I framed him to give you a chance. You should be thanking me instead, eldest senior brother. Vo Kwang spun in shock. Vo Hai, you. Vo Hai shouted loudly. You have no idea how I helped you. Is this how you show gratitude? Damn it, everything you have, whether it's your current position as eldest senior brother or your future as sect leader, is all thanks to my meddling. The two faced each other. Vo Hai continued. I didn't do anything wrong. This is what you were supposed to do if you wanted to get where you are. So stop playing the good guy, eldest senior brother. Vo Kwang's. Tran Than covered his eyes and burst out laughing. I never expected Gongdong to have rotted to this extent. Ha ha ha. The grass swayed in the wind. You're right, I really am someone who cares about nothing besides martial arts. In the end, I'm just a puppet in this game. He pointed straight at him in anger. You have no idea how many times I've wanted to chop off your head, but killing you right now would be way too merciful for scum. Lay you. You will suffer the same punishment as Tai Bing. Having your martial arts crippled. Not only that, I'll make your life 100 times more miserable. He lowered his head and pointed, eyes full of malice. Starting today, I will uproot and eliminate scumbags like you from Gongdong. Vo Hai stood frozen in place. Anyone who opposes me will be executed. I will chew you until no bone is left. Let me warn you, you bankrupt trash. Prepare yourself to face the consequences. The sky fell silent. Vo Kwang turned to face Ham Thai Bing. After all this, a mere apology is not enough. Ham Thai Bing's family stood in silence. From now on, the Gongdong sect will protect your family of three at all costs. Vo Kwang bowed his head in apology. It's all my fault. I am a blind, ungrateful fool. Now that the truth is out, I truly bow my head in apology for everything you've suffered all this time. Instead, Ham Thai Bing hurriedly stepped forward to support him. Eldest senior brother, it's in the past. He placed a hand on Vo Kwang's shoulder. You don't need to feel guilty. What you said is enough. Vo Kwang refused. No, I will do everything to clear your name. Forgive me for not investigating sooner. Tran Vung Nguyen stood behind, patting Quan Mon Chin's head. Tran Vung Nguyen stroked Quan Mon Chin's head. He looked up. With my current level, I've reached one of the highest realms. Vo Kwang looked on in contemplation. To become a renowned master across the martial world, I've spent my entire life. Yet this person is only 20. He could easily defeat me now. Tran Vung Nguyen turned to look. Could he be a martial arts genius? Those massive figures. Heaven truly is unfair. After witnessing the world's best, I can't believe there's another like him. He might be stronger than them. Water flows. Ah, hey, that person. Tran Vung Nguyen was puzzled when Wu Guang called. I've heard about this journey. You must be heading to Nam, right? He replied. Did. Wu Guang wanted to apologize but couldn't. Eyes avoiding. It's all our fault that you have to waste nights here. The two faced each other. Wu Guang continued. I came to thank you. You helped me see my mistake. In return, allow me to introduce someone who will surely be of use to you. He said seriously. Once you reach Yunnan, seek out my friend. Hatran Noyet. He's a close friend of mine. His appearance is unusual, so he's easy to spot. Mention my name. He will definitely help you. Tran Vung Nguyen asked again. Thanks, but why did you lose your name? But why do you want to help me? Wu Guang answered directly. Well, I not only owe you my life, but I have a feeling you must meet this person. Tran Vung Nguyen. But I am Tran Vung Nguyen. I apologize for underestimating you earlier, senior. Wu Guang bowed back. The night was quiet. Wu Guang pondered the name. Tran Vung Nguyen, the northern swordsman. Tran Vung Nguyen. Suddenly he was shocked, realizing something. Wait, Tran Vung Nguyen. Tran Vung Nguyen left. No, how could it be that person? The sky had brightened. A large boat docked at the shore. The group moved toward the boat. Ham Thai Bing smiled and stood aside watching Quan Mon Chin and his daughter say goodbye. Han Ta Lin said, I can learn martial arts at Kong Dong Vian. Great, Quan Mon Chin shyly replied. Then from now on I must become incredibly strong to protect Big Brother. When you return, visit me. See you later. He also said goodbye. Okay, Ta Lin, take care of yourself. Tran Vung Nguyen watched with a question mark. Tran Vung Nguyen watched the group walk together. Big Brother, when you return, visit me. See you later. Maybe we were too hasty. He stood rubbing his head in a daze. Trouble is starting now. The sky was clear. The boat sailed mid-river. On the dirt road, lush trees on both sides, a group was walking. Tran Vung Nguyen sat with arms crossed, head drooping asleep, some light shining on his face. Quan Mon Chin's eye, on horseback. Quan Mon Chin's eyes sparkled at Tran Vung Nguyen. He said annoyed, stop staring at me with those eyes. Quan Mon Chin's eyes seemed to light up, whining, you're so cute. I feel so much respect. Hey, how did you get so good at martial arts? Yet I never noticed before. What do I need to do to be as strong as you? Senior brother, Tran Vung Nguyen slapped his head. So headache-inducing, I shouldn't have. The basic moves that uncle taught you are not just ordinary sword techniques. He rode the carriage. Quan Mon Chin rode beside. Tran Vung Nguyen explained the techniques, although sometimes it's quite weak and slow at first, but once you grasp it, your learning speed will increase. The important thing is to practice patiently. I also have some advice. You should find a heavier sword. Don't use the White Dragon Merchant Group's type. Switch to a longsword 4 times heavier. Current sword. He was surprised after hearing. Wait, a longsword. He remembered accepting blame. Based on your physique. Tran Vung Nguyen placed his hand on his back. You'll become taller and stronger if you train. Quan Mon Chin was excited and hip high. clenching his fist to show his spirit. Really? Then when should I start? Senior brother. The group arrived in Sichuan. The group entered the bustling city. The leader ordered, "Today we stop here. Find a nearby inn to rest. And take turns guarding the carriage. End of God shift. End of God shift. End of God shift. End of God shift. End." End of God shift. End of God shift. Well then, this one looks pretty awesome, right? Tran Vunguyen shook his head. He looked around and spotted a sop. Quan Monchin tiredly ran after, asking, "Senior brother, I'm glad you picked a sword with me. But you've rejected everything so far. Wait, why are we going this way? Does this side have good stuff too? Wait for me." The two walked to a sop. The owner sat behind the counter. You two here to buy a sword?" He noticed the sword Tran Vunguyen held and asked, "Oh ho ho, did you forge that sword yourself?" He glanced over and asked again, "Why did you choose a talisman sword?" The old blacksmith with a carefree expression. He scanned him, then looked at the sword again. After a moment he asked, "But why did you choose a talisman sword?" He didn't answer but asked the blacksmith back, "How do you know I made it myself?" "I can tell from your hands." "Those are hands that know forging." "I don't mean to, but this sword radiates a lot of killing intent. Maybe it's the material I used." "Of the sword, it's a stone a tribe once worshipped, then was massacred. I think this sword contains the souls and aspirations of those people. You know, there's something called a heavenly sword forged from the wishes and aspirations of the blacksmiths. Depending on the person, the sword becomes sacred or a demon sword. That's why a blacksmith must stay focused. If someone else got that sword, it could become a big problem. Keep it safe but be careful. One mistake and the sword will make you lose your reason." He replied, "I can feel it too." Both fell into a silent void. After a moment, the old blacksmith stood up and said, "Come in." He also turned back to add, "You have the skill of a good blacksmith. You can't be here to buy a sword for yourself, right?" He looked at Quan Monchin, asking, "Is it that kid?" At this moment he was confused, not understanding what was happening himself. He quickly gave the requirements for a sword that would accompany his junior brother for the rest of the journey. "Dit, I want a long sword at least 4 gun heavy, and the length must be over 3 che. The technique he's learning suits a longsword." Hearing that, he went inside to rummage through his swords to find the boy a sword matching the requirements. An idea flashed in his head. He said, "I forgot I have this. I forged it when I was young. I put my heart into it. But for some reason no one bought it." He brought out a sword from a box. "Oh heavens, I'm old so I've lost strength. You two come help me lift it." After the sword was drawn out, he looked at the sword longer than his own body and commented, based on the red glow on the blade, "The material is fine steel. A good sword. The weight is also perfect. Good sword." The old man standing beside was satisfied with his, smiling, "You know a lot about swords." Quan Monchin looked at the sword in surprise, at its length. Well, he looked at the boy. "Kid, don't stand there. Come, try." He hesitated, then continued, "Okay." The kid rubbed his nose confidently, thinking, "All right, because I was born strong, so I can use a longsword. Let's try." The moment he received the sword from Tran Vunguyen's hand, it fell straight to the ground due to weight. His mouth fell open. He could only pick it up, using all his strength, but couldn't hold it. He sighed, "Oh my, so heavy." Senior brother uses one hand. "Lift it." Kids these days are truly weak. When I was your age, this sword was nothing. It's not what you think. I dropped it because senior brother handed it to me before I was ready. Saying that, he tried to lift the sword, but its weight made him tremble, forcing a stiff smile at the old man, saying, "See, I didn't drop it again," while looking at Tran Vunguyen with questions. "Senior brother, is this the suitable sword?" Tran Vunguyen probably didn't think the sword would be too much for his junior brother. He raised his hand to his mouth and coughed a few times to hide his. This is also part of the training. Tran Vunguyen reached into his clothes to pay. He turned to ask the old blacksmith, "How much is it?" Quan Monchain stopped him. "Don't, senior brother, let me pay." The old man smiled and said, "It's fine." His face was full of question marks. "I'm satisfied." Feeling he shouldn't accept such a sword for free, he hesitated and said, "Still, allow me." Before he could finish, the old man waved it off. "I already said it's fine. If you want to repay me, buy meat and wine next time. That's enough. You're not well off either, swordsman." The old man rubbed his thick beard, cheerfully said, "Next time we'll drink and talk about life, especially about swords. So much to discuss." He stood watching the old man ramble on. "You know, I forged a lot of swords for a martial sect that's newly rising. What was his name? My memory is failing." He bowed to say goodbye. "Thank you, senior. I will definitely return," he replied. Fine. This old man will sit and wait for you." The sun slowly set behind the mountains. Everyone said goodbye to continue their journey. "Kid, remember to take care of Hong Trao. If you run into trouble, come back and find me. Who knows if I'll still be alive then." He thanked him. "Thank you, senior. Take care of your health until I return." Walking away, he still looked back with reluctance. Quan Monchain ran over, talking. "Senior brother, I'm grateful. Thanks to you I found Hong Trao." Tran Vung Guan wondered. "Hong Trao," he continued. "Deet. The blacksmith named it the sword." He replied, "My name. Practice diligently and keep improving." Moving forward, the sky turned to night. The two walked past a crowd gathered densely. Quan Monchain wondered, "What's going on? Is there a fight?" The two moved closer, squeezing through people to get near the center. Quan Monchain was startled by the scene before him. In front, a group of bandits were robbing an old couple. Not only that, they were threatening everyone. "What are you looking at? You here to watch a show? Get lost." The old couple kept begging the people. "Please, someone help me." The old woman was pushed to the ground. The thug, annoyed, cursed. "Damn it, shut your mouth." The people around only dared to watch and comment. "Damn, wherever you go you meet scum like this. I can't believe people just stand and watch. How can they treat the elderly like that?" Suddenly a large figure appeared behind the brothers. He said in a loud voice, "Thanks one sect, Din Sun Hoi, 2 families in Sichuan. You bastards, where are you? Don't they see 2 poor old people being bullied?" He stepped closer, reached out his huge hand to grab the thug, saying, "There are 3 sects in Sichuan." The thug was annoyed at being grabbed. "Hey, what the hell?" And no one helped. After saying that, he grinned and crushed the hand of the thug, making him scream in pain. But it didn't stop there. He continued to grab and lift the thug up. Then with a loud sound, he flew and crashed to the ground, dust flying everywhere. The scene was brutal. Just as he knocked the thug down, a swift figure flew in to deal with the big thug. But he was sent flying several meters by one move. The bald thug charged with a sword, aiming a lethal strike. A flash of white light flew past. The big thug in just moments had reached the neck of the bald one. After a while, the battle had ended. As the crowd dispersed, Tran Vunguyen said, "This person's done. We should go now." Quan Monchain seemed still scared from the performance. He panicked. "Senior brother, did you see that?" Grabbed his hand once. At the inn where the 2 brothers would stay. The 2, Tran Vunguyen, walked and talked for a while before returning to the inn. No joke, that guy's head was kicked flying. Just as they entered the room, the sight of a group of people all booing respectfully confused them about what was happening. The leader stepped forward, respectfully saying, "Welcome, leader." Quan Monchain's face was full of questions. "Leader, what's wrong with these people?" Suddenly a large figure loomed over the 2. The brothers looked at each other without speaking. The same question. Perhaps sensing the presence nearby, Quan Monchain startled and turned his head. The leader of the Iron Army stood behind laughing. His majestic bearing lay a giant statue. "Respectful," he said cheerfully. "Good to see you all. I'm so happy." Laughter echoed from the building. Long Vuthan was listening to his subordinate recount. Funixitari. He opened his mouth and said loudly, "What? That really happened? That's awesome. Well done, Vice Leader." After laughing, he turned to introduce himself. "I am Long Vuthan. Pleased to meet you." He also introduced himself. "I am Tran, Leader Than." Long Vuthang smiled and said, I know you. Just now, according to the vice leader, he had a difficult time, so I should talk to that person. Long Than also friendly extended his hand. Having a brother here is great. We were just about to have a gathering. Come, sit here. Tran Vun Guine's face was full of question marks, not understanding. That remark caught Mo Zonghuan off guard. But as the leader, Long Than Vu glanced back and said, Miss Mo Vu, Huan of the Back Long Caravan, I've heard about your companion's uncle disappearing. Then he surely has the right to join. Another person chimed in. Leader Long, but this is a critical issue. Long Than Vu found those words ridiculous. Didn't you all say he's strong? Why the fuss? Isn't he a great companion? The more experts we gather, the better. No need for fuss, at least we have something. Whether good or evil. Quan Mun Ching looked at the crowd holding swords. He felt out of place in this room. He awkwardly said he didn't fit in here. Mun Ching turned and said, Senior brother, go ahead. He replied, all right, see you tomorrow. He replied, all right, see you tomorrow. The sun had set, giving way to a quiet night. Night. Long Tang Vu stretched. All right, everyone knows each other, so allow me to introduce the newcomers. First, that one over there, he's known as Diet Tun. I don't know his real name, but he's the embodiment of madness. That one is Van Te Chun, average looks but great at flattery, no less. Important. This one is Chi Tang Ruat. He's a sly one, so be careful. Have I introduced everyone? I think that's all. Chen Vu Nguyen bowed and greeted warmly. A pleasure to meet you all. My surname is Chen. Long Than Vu scanned everyone in the room. Seeing all the greetings were done, he stretched both hands forward and announced, all right, since the formalities are done, continue the discussion. Long Than Vu thought to himself, Chen, as the vice leader said, I sense no aura. From him he knows no martial arts at all. Is he hiding his strength? Not ordinary. Gong Chen Tang gave a slight cough. Allow me to restate today's topic. Nam is complex. Everyone knows that besides Thum Tang Kiam Phai, there's no other notable sect. Ba Quyên Ho easily seized power and dominated. Of Nam, they built a powerful sect that overwhelms all the others. So they've been in conflict with Thum Tang Kiam Phai. Vân Trung Thien should have intervened. War, but for some reason they remain neutral. That's why this conflict hasn't been resolved. So, not only is our Back Long Caravan affected, countless other shops have also closed. We sent Silver to Ba Quyên Hội to request cooperation, but it didn't work. Caravans are hesitant and dare not enter. Trade in Nam is stalled. Long Than Vu thought for a moment, then said, someone wants to block the flow of money in Nam. Trung Li Vu Huan was the first to offer his opinion. Both Thum Tang Kiam Phai and Ba Quyên Hội are suspicious. Long Tang Vu asked, what if a third organization is involved in this? Thái Nhạc Nam added, we can't rule out that possibility. We don't know the reason yet. Long Than Vu scratched his nose with a disdainful look. A bunch of troublemakers, you've dragged us into this business. Chen Vu Nguyen finally offered a bit of input. Considering this situation and my uncle's disappearance, we'll have to go there in person to figure out the next step. Gong Chen Tang replied, that's right. Trung Li Vu Huan said, I know we'll have to go face this ourselves, but I've sent someone to scout the situation so that we'll have gathered plenty of useful information. Long Than Vu finally had his curiosity satisfied. He turned to ask Thái Nhạc Nam, I've been wondering where Sat Kam was. So you sent him? Where? Nhạc Nam replied, Vu Huan sent him, since keeping him here would be useless anyway. Long Than Vu turned and patted Vu Huan's shoulder, laughing, well done. Once everything's settled, I'll reward the vice leader. Vu Huan looked annoyed. Please don't touch my clothes with that hand. Seeing everything was in order, Long Than Vu didn't want to stay any longer. He stood up and said, report anything to me. I've got a picture of the situation. Try to help everyone figure out a plan. He cheerfully walked out, saying as he went, my responsibility ends here. You all stay and figure it out. Everyone just shrugged helplessly. As he passed by Chen Vu Nguyen's seat, he asked, still planning to sit here? Want to take a walk? The two walked out together into the night. As they walked, Long Thang Vũ explained, Vice Leader Vũ Huan is a man of foresight. I entrusted him with handling everything in Thiết Quân Hội. I trust him. Vũ Huan's plans carry the future of Thiết Quân Hội on them a great deal, and the responsibility on his shoulders is immense. That's why he always has to plan every step ahead, so he can be quite distant. It's understandable the more responsibility someone carries, the more numb they become. So I hope you too. Don't just see him as a stubborn jerk. The two walked in step, the silence broken only by the sound of footsteps. Long Thang Vũ led Trần Vũ Nguyên to a dead end. He asked, Isn't this a dead end? He laughed. Don't worry, I don't plan to kill you. Bất chợt, mặt hắn lạnh tanh hỏi. Leader Long, do you think you have real skill? His smile froze. He released his pressure and said, I can figure that out later. Hắn cũng chẳng hề nhượng bộ, liên tục tỏa sát khí áp chế đối phương, and after a moment of thought, said, Really, họ nhìn nhau, ánh mắt khóa chặt. Hai luồng áp lực va chạm, khiến không khí around them outward. Bụi bay mù mịt, mắt thường cũng thấy rõ. After testing each other's strengths, he put on a carefree face and said, Unfortunately, we should save our energy for another. Cats. Giờ có việc quan trọng hơn. Long Thang Vũ stepped forward and knocked on the door ahead. Ta cần thu thập thêm tin tức về vụ này. In Ung Nam, an old man opened the door, speaking slowly. We're closed today. Long Thang Vũ introduced himself. I am Long Thang Vũ, leader of Thiết Quân Hội. Lão già lại hỏi đầy lo lắng. Xin lỗi, tôi không hiểu ý ông. Hắn nhai mệt, rồi nói, Hắc Nguyệt Ảnh. Lão già ngập ngừng suy nghĩ hồi lâu, rồi nhìn quanh đảm bảo không có ai ngoài hai người. Of them. After checking, he replied, Please come in. He followed the old man in, but seeing the young man still standing lại tường, hắn quay lại với tay. What are you standing there dumbfounded for? Come in. After stepping inside, he carefully closed the door behind him. Nơi này là lão già tìm kiếm gì đó, bảo mọi người. Đợi chút, Thang Vũ giải thích cho ông ta vị trí. This is a branch of Hắc Nguyệt, and the person we're about to meet might even be the head of của tổ chức họ. Nơi này chuyên cung cấp tin về các cao thủ võ lâm. Ordinary people can hardly get close to them. Hắn quay sang họ, sao đưa tôi đến đây? Hắn đáp, tôi chỉ muốn ông biết nơi này tồn tại. Hãy nhớ rằng, a place exists in the martial world. Võ lâm rộng lớn và bí ẩn hơn ông tưởng nhiều. Think. He speculated. Hắn đang bảo tôi mở mang tầm mắt, nghĩa là nên cẩn thận thái độ. He replied to his answer. We'll remember that. He responded. Let's hope so. Có người vén rèm bước ra nói, xin lỗi đã để quý khách đợi lâu. Một người che mặt kín mít chào họ. Vinh hạnh được gặp ban chủ Thiết Quân Hội. Hắc Nguyệt Ảnh nguồn gốc là một bí ẩn. Không ai biết gì về thủ lĩnh, mục đích hay số lượng thành viên. Họ là tổ chức, organization that always lurks in the shadows. Nhưng chắc chắn họ luôn nắm giữ tin quý, information on anyone. The leader of Hắc Nguyệt Ảnh came out personally to receive them. Vinh hạnh được đón ban chủ Thiết Quân Hội. Ta là Mai Nguyệt Lăng, chủ Hắc Nguyệt. Bà nhìn sang Trần Vũ Nguyên and suddenly said, Người này Long Thang Vũ đáp, người quen của tôi. He bowed in greeting. My name is Trần. He responded politely. Nếu là người quen của bang chủ Long, không cần khách sáo. Hân hạnh, ông Trần sau màn chào hỏi, bà mời mọi người vào ngồi. Mời ngồi. Mai Nguyệt Lăng đi thẳng vào vấn đề. Ông cần gì hôm nay? Bang chủ Long. Long Thang Vũ cũng stand on ceremony either. He placed a patch of gold on the table and said, The purpose. Hôm nay tôi muốn biết thêm về tình hình. Tôi muốn biết tình hình hiện tại ở Uông Nam. Just tell me what you know. Uông Nam nơi chúng ta đang theo dõi sao? Tiếc là, we haven't gathered as much as we'd hoped. However, one thing is certain. The conflict between Bá Quyền Hội and Thẩm Thành Kiếm Phái has a third hand intervening. Long Thang Vũ could have predicted that. He said, đúng như dự đoán, các đoàn buôn mất tích ở Uông Nam có thể đã bị bọn chúng bắt hoặc giết. Mai Nguyệt Lăng shared her thoughts. Nếu bị giết, xác đã được tìm thấy rồi. Không thể tiêu diệt cả đoàn buôn lớn mà không để lại dấu vết. Long Thang Vũ ngập ngừng suy nghĩ, rồi hỏi, có tìm ra thông tin gì về tổ chức thứ ba? Background. Bà đáp, như đã nói, chúng tôi chưa thu thập được nhiều về Uông Nam. Nếu quay lại sau, chúng tôi có thể có thêm tin. Giờ vẫn còn quá sớm. Bang chủ Long. Long Thành Vũ nghe vậy thì thất vọng. Tôi nghe nói đám già ở Vân Trung Thiên vẫn chưa động tình. Is that true? He continued to answer. Actually, we just confirmed that Vân Trung Thiên. Có lý do cả. Đám già nhàn rỗi đó không ngồi yên đâu. And let this pass. Hắn đứng dậy thất vọng. Chết tiệt, rắc rối thật. Chuyến này, tốn kém quá lỗ nặng. Về thôi. Mai Nguyệt Lăng looked at the silver on the table and said, this amount có vẻ hơi nhiều cho thông tin tôi vừa cung cấp cho ông. Để công bằng, tôi tặng thêm một tin nhỏ. Hai người định rời đi, thắc mắc về her words. She began to add more. She began to provide another piece of information. Someone named Lang Viễn Bang is searching for and planning to harm your sect leader Long. He's actively recruiting many assassins. Long Thành Vũ ngạc nhiên và lo lắng khi nghe tin. Name what? Lang Viễn Bang. That damn fake name. Khi hai người rời đi, trăng đã soi sáng cả night sky. After ensuring everyone had left, the branch leader vẫn không có ý định rời khỏi ghế. Một lúc sau, bà gọi, Lao Hạc, lão già chậm rãi bước ra, Trung Kinh nổi, người gọi con, chủ nhân, sau khi bỏ mũ trùm. Hóa ra chi nhánh trưởng Hắc Nguyệt, Mai Nguyệt Lang was actually a woman. Bà bắt đầu ra lệnh khi hắn vào thành Ung Nam. Keep a close watch on the leader. About to finish, she paused. Không phải hắn ý, ta là kẻ tên Trần đi cùng phái đội ẩn nguyệt cấp cao nhất. The old man found it hard to believe upon hearing the order. The one beside leader Long, a nobody liar. You want to send ẩn nguyệt. Bà suy nghĩ sâu xa. Không chỉ vậy, đội cấp cao của 1,000 members, is that man really worth so much? He bowed his head and accepted the order. As you command. I'll report this to ẩn nguyệt and send. Mai Nguyệt Lang said firmly. He's definitely not ordinary. Cảnh chuyển sang Long Thành Vũ. Hai người vừa đi vừa bàn về tiến độ nhiệm vụ. Vậy chúng ta đã xác nhận có kẻ khác nhúng tay. Didn't you mention this at the last meeting? Didn't you mention this at the last meeting? Long Thành Vũ đáp, tất nhiên đoán sao bằng. To a clear confirmation. Ông có thể nghĩ tin đó vô giá trị, nhưng nó giúp tôi xác nhận tình hình có thể thay đổi vì thế lực thứ ba, making things more dangerous than ever. Đủ sao? Tôi cần xử lý kẻ gây rối Lang Viễn Bang first. He casually asked, can I ask who he is? He's also someone with status in Sakhoin City. I used to be his subordinate before meeting. Đồng đội hiện tại. Tôi được giao bảo vệ hắn. A shipment. Vận chuyển muối cho khách. Nghe về Sakhoin, tôi vô tình biết hắn tìm thấy kho báu ở. Of course, I had no interest or concern. Khi nói đến thứ đó, hắn đòi hỏi đối bí mật và bắt tôi thề. Cuối cùng, hắn vẫn không tin tôi at all. I figured as much, truly a cunning bastard. At that point, his face looked like he wanted to kill someone. Thậm chí còn dám ra lệnh giết tôi. Ngay khi nói vậy, một sự im lặng lạnh lẽo bao trùm. Cảm thấy có gì đó không ổn, hắn quay lại vỗ vai, cười. Đừng lo, tôi đảm bảo chuyến này sẽ không sao. To ông Nam. He instructed, you should head back to the inn. I still have things to do. He replied, all right. Nói rồi, hắn bỏ lại người kia và chạy nhanh vào đêm tối. From afar, the inn looked like a giant tower. Bất chợt, một bóng người ló lên ở cửa sổ tầng 2. Trongson, tiếng kiếm hòa cùng tiếng gió. Có vẻ ai đó vẫn đang luyện chiêu thức. Tran Vung Nguyen, Trần Vũ Nguyên ngồi ở cửa sổ tầng 2, nhìn người practicing. Suddenly, a crowd rushed over from afar, making him wonder what was happening. Một nhóm người cầm kiếm và đao lao tới. Trần Vũ Nguyên nghĩ, thiết quân hội đi đâu vào giờ này? Hour. A line of people filed into the inn. Voices rang out. I hope everyone has rested enough, we don't have much. Thời gian, càng trì hoãn càng khó. Tập trung, keep watch around us. Let's go. Quan Môn Trinh wondered, why is thiết quân hội here? Một đám người nằm ngủ la liệt trên xe ngựa. Phó bang chủ đang bàn bạc với đội trưởng hộ vệ, còn bang chủ đang ngủ ngon lành trên nóc xe. Roof. Quan Môn Chính nói từ xa, người đó khá đáng sợ. Tôi vẫn không dám lại gần sư huynh. Đám người bên đường bàn tán, bạn biết chuyện gì xảy ra không? Sáng nay khi đi dạo, tôi vô tình nghe về vụ việc đêm qua liên quan đến Lạnh Lăng. A figure also famous in Sichuan. Those thugs at the street corner were wiped out clean from the river to the street. Cả một nhóm, không ai sống sót, bị thảm sát hoàn toàn. Nên quân triều đình mở cuộc điều tra kỹ lưỡng và bắt kẻ chủ mưu behind it. It was a terrifying night. Sáng sớm hôm sau, Trần Vũ Nguyên hỏi, ông thực sự đã đi đâu? Why slaughter all of them? Đám thuộc hạ làm việc cho Lăng Viễn Bằng đều vô tội. People. Long Thành Vũ im lặng. Một lúc sau, hắn mới nói, một khi ngọn cỏ có dấu hiệu nảy mầm, nếu không nhổ tận gốc, đến xuân chúng sẽ mọc lại. Và lúc đó, be impossible to stop. Hãy học cách tàn nhẫn. Chỉ cần có dấu hiệu, do la smallest threat to your people. Before he could finish, he was cut off. Đó thực sự là niềm tin của cả thiết quân hội thật tệ. Reputation you're aiming for. Long Thành Vũ đáp, ông không cần nói những điều này. Ở một thời điểm trong đời, tôi muốn chiến đấu. Vì công lý, vì chính nghĩa trong tim. Không phải là I don't understand your words. But it's all because Ling Viên Bang didn't trust that he intended to put us first. Dù máu có đổ bao nhiêu, tôi đang ở vị trí phải. Nghĩ đến bức tranh lớn hơn. If I don't strike first, someone else will. Thật đáng tiếc, nhưng thế giới này là vậy. Tôi cũng thấy ông phần nào giống sự thật này. Trần Vũ Nguyên lập tức đáp trả. No, you're just a coward. Sau nhiều ngày hành quân, thiết quân hội vượt sông, núi, đèo, cuối cùng cũng đến thành U Nam. Long Vu Than spoke up to remind mọi người, đừng lơ là cảnh giác. Before he finished speaking, a sound rang out. Tran Vu Nguyen quickly noticed it too. His hands tensed up, ready for a fierce trận chiến. Nhưng kẻ tiếp cận không đến để đánh, họ đến to beg for help. Please, save us. Tang Clan Mount, one of the most famous towns in cả nước. Đây là nơi Đường Giang sống, luyện tập. Rõ ràng, Đường Giang còn được gọi là Tứ Xuyên, Đường Môn và Đường Quý Gia. Thủ lĩnh của chuyến vận chuyển thuốc này là gia chủ, Vạn Độc Vương, Đường Quan Vũ. Ông hỏi, đã chuẩn bị mọi thứ kỹ lưỡng chưa? After the 10,000 Poison King, the one closest to the title of Poison Master. Độc Thánh là cháu và cháu cố của Đường Quan Vũ, chuyên gia độc. Tang Khai-mon. Tang Khai-mon replied, no need, không cần lo lắng cho chúng tôi. Có gì mà chuẩn bị? Ông vẫn useless as always. How dare they order us around, treating us like dogs. But when it comes to detoxifying and curing poison, we're the best. Gia chủ cũng khá lo lắng về chuyến đi này. I'm not pleased with their demands this time either. If you encounter danger, leave immediately. Prioritize your own lives first. Protect your uncle, he knows no martial arts at all. Understood. My Lee. My Lee obediently replied, vâng, xin đừng lo lắng quá, gia chủ. Gia chủ đứng cùng hai cháu ở cửa. Ánh sáng từ phía trước đổ bóng, làm nổi bật their mysterious and powerful aura. The solemnity and seriousness in the space made the scene extremely magnificent. Gia chủ chào tạm biệt mọi người. Safe travels. Take care. After a while of riding, họ cuối cùng cũng đến đỉnh núi, where the entire bustling capital could be seen at a glance. The group chose to stop and rest right there. The sky began to turn grey. Không chỉ báo hiệu một cơn bão sắp tới mà còn là một battle. Tension and a mysterious feeling enveloped the entire space. Sau khi nghỉ ngơi khoảng một nén hương, hundreds of horses continued moving forward. Everyone hoped to deliver the goods safely. Very precious, very valuable. Người hộ vệ vừa đi bên cạnh cô vài phút trước, cô bất chợt quay lại kiểm tra tình hình và một lượng máu lớn từ cơ thể người hộ vệ bắn tung lên mặt cô. Miley stood frozen in shock. In the silent forest, someone shouted, ambush, run. Tang Khai-mon's horse was probably startled. It reared up, throwing Tang Khai-mon off. Very fierce, very scary. Rất lạ, rất rõ, rất đơn giản, rất sâu, rất sống động. Very close, very much. Hold on, very much. Don't ask anything. Before becoming a different self, hắn đã nhận ra, đừng hỏi gì cả. His body was covered in bleeding wounds, accompanied by screams of terror. While fighting, she asked about her uncle. Uncle, are you hurt? We're surrounded. We have to thoát khỏi đây trước. Tiếng kiếm va chạm vang vọng khắp khu rừng. Nhóm Đường Gia vừa đánh vừa rút lui to ensure minimal casualties. They charged in recklessly, Perhaps today's mission was to kill all the Tang. Đường ra, dù phải hy sinh tất cả. Đó là lý do họ lao vào at terrifying speed, and gradually. Some were wounded, some died outright. Tóm lại, cảnh tượng hiện tại cực kỳ kinh hoàng. Tang Kaimon just put a cloth over her nose. She turned down and called, Uncle. Thấy cô gọi, hắn hiểu và lấy ra miếng vải của mình to put on. She urged, hurry up. Sau khi xác nhận cả hai đã đeo vải, hắn mở nắp the poison bottle. The toxic gas began to spread, mixing with the air. He threw the poison bottle as far as he could. Bằng tất cả sức lực, thuốc trong lọ phát tán vào không khí. He replied, got it. Be careful, Miley. I'll wipe them out in one shot. The attackers ran while worrying. They charged at the Tang family like a gust of wind. Nhưng trước khi chúng kịp lại gần, bột độc đã được tung ra. They exploded in the area and couldn't escape with their own strength. Tang clan members saw the plan succeed and also chậm lại để xem kết quả. Dust mixed with poison covered the entire khu vực quanh rừng. Những kẻ phục kích trong làn khói độc vomiting blood. They thought they were safe, but no, những người đó hoàn toàn không hề hấn gì. Sau khi ở trong khói độc, đường ra bị sốc. What? They're poisoned but still strong enough to chase us. These are suicide soldiers, they don't care about their lives. He raised his sword to finish the old man immediately, seeing that. Hắn cũng vào tư thế phòng thủ, not forgetting to curse. Damn it, he thought, even though I know no martial arts, with my current poison skills, ông sẽ chịu đau đớn hơn nhiều so với bị kiếm đâm. Với suy nghĩ đó, hắn ném một nắm bột độc. Die. Don't expect to survive. As predicted, that man fell instantly, blood flowing from his 7 orifices, writhing in unbearable pain. Besides, screaming. After finishing one, he struck a cue pose. Một bóng đen lướt qua mỹ lệ. Cô bất chợt quay lại và hét lên. Từ khi nào có một bóng người cao lớn đứng sau hắn, cầm thứ có thể lấy mạng hắn bất cứ lúc nào. Hắn giật mình quay lại. Wusha blade swept past smoothly, but luckily he dodged it. Miley rushed over to help. She thought, no, I'm too slow to act. That giant hit her once, and pain flared up. Nhưng may mắn thay, có người đến giúp kịp thời. Cô tiến lại Đường Kỳ Môn và gọi, Chu, mỹ lệ. Đường Kỳ Môn cố gắng đứng dậy. Cô động viên, cố lên, Chu. Hắn dường như vẫn lo lắng về những gì phía sau. Cô quay lại, các thành viên đường ra đều gật đầu. Bảo cô đi. One shouted, we can't hold them off much longer. Miss, cô phải đi càng xa càng tốt. Then came sounds of fighting, screams, and cries, echoing through the forest. After walking for a long time, she finally heard footsteps and horse. Phải, nghe rất khẩn cấp. Một bóng đen lướt qua. Cô lập tức nhận ra một nhóm người đang đi qua đây. On this side, Tran Vu Nguyen also felt something strange, as if someone was nearby. Hắn ngước lên và quét xung quanh. Finally, Miley led her uncle to beg for help. Please help us. Hóa ra, những người phía trước là từ thiết quân hội đang hướng về Yunnan. Ban chủ và phó ban chủ giật mình và đồng loạt turned to see the situation. Dừng lại đó. Chuyện quái gì đang xảy ra vậy? Phó bang chủ hét lớn về phía nguồn âm thanh. State your identity. Cô gái ao đến mang theo một ông già bị thương nặng. Cầu xin help. We are from the Tang clan. I am Tang Mai, and this is one of the leaders of our clan. We were ambushed unexpectedly. He's seriously injured now. Please help us. We will surely repay you greatly later. Lúc này, Long Thành Vũ dường như đã nhận ra lai lịch của hai người trước mặt. Hắn liếc nhìn họ và tự hỏi, Đường Môn, họ cũng liên quan đến vụ này sao? Not only that, what kind of ambush force could turn the Tang Môn ra nông nỗi này? These people must not be ordinary. Giờ hai người này bị đuổi đến tận đây, nghĩa là kẻ phục kích cũng ở gần đây. Vũ Thanh ngẩng đầu, nhìn khuôn mặt đầy lo lắng. More trouble piled up. Finally, he waved his hand, quay người bước đi. Nhạc Lan dẫn vài người đi kiểm tra xung quanh. Don't miss any spot. Tronky Jaw. Phó ban chủ vẫn nhìn chằm chằm vào hai người tự xưng là Đường Môn, không phản hồi lại. Long Vutan's words, in her words, please, and her pitiful eyes full of begging, a calculation flashed through his mind. Tang clan beauty not just gold and jewels, but surely also all kinds of useful poisons. Độc thuật của Đường Môn thực sự vô song. What should I do? Lông mày hắn hơi nhíu lại. Should I help the Tang clan to become their ally? That also means putting myself in danger. Hay phớt lờ đường môn và tập trung vào nhiệm vụ tìm thế lực. Forced to rescue the Bak Long Thuong Don. He then, do dự, không biết phải làm gì. Wait, I can't be sure they're really from the đường môn. Nếu họ từ tổ chức đó, cải trang và thâm nhập to lure us into a trap. Suddenly his eyes changed. Hân hiệt, ông đang làm gì vậy? Tronkijo, Trần Vũ Nguyên không do dự, vươn out to take the old man from the stunned Tang Mai Li. I'll help you. This action made him burst. Với sự tức giận, hét lớn, what the hell are you doing? Đừng tự ý hành động nữa. I'm the one in charge of making decisions on this trip. Facing his fierce questioning, Tran Vun Nguyen remained completely unmoved, as if he had foreseen what was coming. His tone was firm. We're surrounded anyway. So if you want to lie, you better hold your sword tight. Just as he was about to retort, a hand landed on his shoulder. Vu Hon Long Vu Than had somehow walked up behind him. He's right. We're trapped. He emphasized once more. There are quite a lot of them now. Vu Hon finally stopped, stammering. Ah, you should have told me earlier. Looking at his comrade, the leader felt a hint of guilt. Vu Hon, you've been too cautious. I shouldn't have piled everything on your shoulders. Part 2. Then he grew serious. The situation isn't looking good. I was truly foolish, worrying about matters in Yunnan without noticing our troops were surrounded. Helping these two is no longer the question. A battle is absolutely unavoidable. That being the case, supporting the Tang clan to quickly neutralize the ambushers is the best option right now. That Tran guy sensed it from the start. Meanwhile, Tran Vun Nguyen ordered a spot to treat the old man's wounds. Mon Chin, clear a spot for him. Diet, senior brother. He had anticipated this battle, so he warned the young man to stay alert. Because we aren't just guarding supplies. Understand, Diet. Not stopping, he added. Nothing trains faster than combat. Those words made Mon Chin tremble. Brother, stop saying such scary things. Meanwhile, Tang Mai Li hesitated, looking at him for a while, then stammered, thank you. Sure enough, just a few minutes later, a massive crowd arrived, causing a violent commotion. Form up. A large curved blade gleamed. Was drawn. So you're the one who just stole my prey, while I was talking so gently. Why don't you hand over those two rats to me? Tran Vun Nguyen furrowed his brows tightly and replied, if we intended to do that, then why would we? He slowly drew the sword in his hand. Let them into the carriage. Right. The man opposite showed no sign of anger, calmly pointing his blade, and sighed, what a stubborn fool. Fine then. Fine, since you won't yield, I'll just kill you all. With that, the leader raised his spear, his blood demons to attack. Kill them all. Kill. With that, hundreds of people charged straight at them, outnumbered, but our spirit is stronger. Bak Long Thuong Don, Iron Army, prepare for battle. Then they didn't hold back either, charging into the bloody fray against the demons. In the chaos, Vu Hon raised his hand and pointed. 3 on the right. Another one, not to be outdone, struck hard and roared with excitement. I'll chop you into minced meat. Man Tu Chang cursed the blood demons. How dare you hit my face, you bastards. Die. One slash after another came down. The Iron Army fought with ferocity. I'll cut you all down. Come on. Trithan also charged in. The air around began to flow rapidly. On this side, Tran Sung raised his sword to block an attack from a blood demon. Is that all you've got? What do you want with our third miss? Thu Nhan was looking toward the guards on her side. Her whole body involuntarily trembled. Suddenly Thu Nhan turned, eyes wide. A tall figure appeared from nowhere. He raised his hand to kill the woman before him. A figure rushed in and destroyed the demon, shouting angrily, damn you. You have a sword, so fight. Standing there waiting to die. You don't even care about your of her own. Thai Naklan carries her weapon on her shoulder and warns, listen closely. Once we step outside, we enter battle. If you still fear, or if you want to lie, hurry up and keep up with me. Nearby, a bulky man laughs, lie a man. No one can defeat me. Are you blood ghost sect thugs? In the air, a dark figure approaches. A loud explosion echoes everywhere. Thick dust fills all directions. Long Vu Than points his blade at him. The enemy, Do not make any rash moves. I thought one strike would take him down. But this guy blocked it. He claims to be a blood ghost. Really? This is the first time I've heard that name. This bastard is not from the Central Plains. The blade cuts Chuangdong's body. That cut wasn't deep enough. His weapon is stronger than I thought. At that moment, the man hastily counterattacks with a sneer. You're quite agile. Long Vu then dodges, thinking, aim for the neck, but neutralize the mace. Another blade swiftly slashes into his body. Chuangdong groans in pain. Wait, stop for a second. My bones. Ignoring him, Vu Than leaps. With all his might, he shouts, Dragon's Wrath. As he speaks, a beam of light crashes down onto the ground where they clashed. The white smoke slowly clears, revealing Long Vu Then standing beside Chuangdong's fallen corpse. Done. I need to keep one alive for interrogation. But they just keep charging in recklessly. Perhaps I should kill the leader first. Or he sees Tran Vungoyen engage in battle with the leader. He speaks up, even before we arrived here. You realized there was an ambush, didn't you? Quite capable. Regarding the anticipated events, he calmly replies, the disappearance of the White Dragon caravan and the situation in Annam were you guys behind all of this. In response to that interrogation, the other acts arrogant and dismissive. I simply captured and killed a few. Someone else took advantage of this. Tran Vungoyen's figure spinning in the air turns into touching down as an afterimage. Tell me, who is that? He swings his blade. Long slash. The leader instantly freezes in place. His eyes wide. I just saw. I couldn't sense any of his aura from the start. Yet a master of my caliber still has to be cautious. Then he shouts, if you want to know, I, Nam Kuang of the Blood Ghost sect, will make you pay with your life.